I hit the button.
Ugh. So we're professionals at this, and we haven't missed any weeks. But Richard, we haven't done this in like a month. You remember how to do it? You just gotta put
badly.
You just gotta put it in your ear and let the vibrations happen. We didn't do this for a month because you went somewhere. Where'd you go?
I went to sunny California, and it was fantastic. It was filled with joy and wonder. I ate fish. A lot of fish.
Fish is good.
And,
do you eat lots of sushi?
Yes. You know what? I have learned that there is no better drunk than a sake drunk. I love.
I've never gotten like super drunk, but like whenever I go to like to get sushi at like a good sushi restaurant, like, would you like sake? I'm like, yeah, like small or big? I'm like, big.
Yep.
And you get like it's like a good because sake is really just like a wine.
Okay, first, do you go big and they ask you big or small and you go big?
Yeah, of course.
Second question, hot or cold?
Hot. Even though I have heard.
Yes.
I have heard.
My boy. That's
not really like the traditional way they do sake. I think it's more like room temperature. And if it's bad sake, that's why they warm it up.
They usually go hot. Like, I think, okay, so bear in mind that the reference that I'm using for this is from a James Bond movie. But they said in the James Bond movie, and it was an old James Bond movie. It was a Sean Connery Bond movie. You know what? Okay, not speaking of, but side note here, like this movie. So this movie's called You Only Live Twice, right? That's the name of the movie. Bit of cultural appropriation there because you've got Sean Connery, and they're like, we're gonna make you. He was gonna like disguise himself so he could kind of like blend in with the crowd because he was in Japan.
Yeah.
So they shave his chest and give him like this fucking like bowl haircut.
Did he look looked Asian, right?
Oh my God. It's you see that and you're like, is that what you think all it takes? Is that apparently we do?
Well, not we. That's British. That's a British movie.
And Sean Connery didn't have a problem with it because I feel like he does like aside from the bowl haircut and them shaving his chest, like he does nothing to like perpetuate the illusion. Like he still talks like normal, which, like I said, like it is kind of par for the course from him because if you look at the movie Highlander, like he's supposed to portray a Spaniard, but it's Sean Connery, so he just like talks and looks like Sean Connery does. And I'm like, I was like, and with Highlander, you're sitting there, you're watching, you're like, wait a minute, you have Sean Connery in Scotland talking to another Scottish, talking to Christopher Lambert, who isn't Scottish, but Christopher Lambert is pretending to be Scottish. You're pretending to be a Spaniard, and you are not at all doing anything to act like a Spaniard.
I mean, just switch it up.
Aside from dressing like you walked out of a fucking Renaissance.
Yeah, why not just change it? It's like we got Sean Connery, just make him Scottish. Let's just go with that. Doesn't he play a Russian too in some movie? And he doesn't have like a Russian accent whatsoever. And then like,
yeah, you know what Sean Connery's like? He's like John Wayne.
Yeah.
I mean like
I'm an Irishman, Pilgrim.
Yeah. Right. That's what I'm saying. So favorite John Wayne movie of all time, of course, is
The Cowboys.
The Quiet Man, right? So in The Quiet Man, he's in Ireland, but his backstory is that he's from America, so it's perfectly understandable that he doesn't speak at all with an Irish accent.
I just came over here, little
But Sean
lady.
Connery, he's like, oh, I was born in Spain. I'm like, then why are you talking like a Scottish man? Like, are you trying? Is it like? Are you trying to like? Is your character trying to like subtly dig at Christopher Lambert, who is Scottish, by being a caricature of? It's like if I went over. It's like if I went to France and was like, well,
no, it'd be like,
I am French too.
Well, no, you'd go over there and you'd talk just like, I'm a Frenchy pilgrim. I like to eat them bagels, pilgrim. Like,
it's just like the whole like. But yeah, that James Bond movie, he's in there. He's pretending to be, or he's supposed to be pretending to be Japanese. And aside from a bowl haircut and a bare chest, he is doing nothing to act like a Japanese person. And you know what, really, in a way, I'm kind of glad, because I think if he tried, I think it would like be borderline. It would be like auditory blackface.
Yeah, I mean, So you were coming up with that because,
you know what I mean? Where you're like, oh, stop. Just stop. It's bad. It's bad. It's real bad. It's offensive. What you're doing is offensive.
Yeah, but even then, like the girl from Wizard of Oz, like she was in some movie where she was in blackface. Yeah, that's happened.
Oh,
but Saki.
But the original point is, in that James Bond movie, he said that the correct temperature to serve sake at is 98.4 degrees Fahrenheit.
That's what Sean Connery said as a British spy playing a Japanese.
That's what no, he wasn't playing. He wasn't Japanese at this point. He was faking being a businessman.
And that's where they caught him and failed, because they're like, we drink our sake cool.
He says, no, I like sake, especially when it's served at the correct temperature, 98.4 degrees Fahrenheit.
And I love that you drink it out of little glasses too. Like, you don't pour it in like a big beer stein. It's good sipping. Like, you're like,
do you know the correct thing to do is, when you get it, you're always supposed to you're not supposed to pour it you're never supposed to pour it for yourself. Like, you pour it for someone else and then they pour it for you.
That's interesting.
My sister taught me that.
Is that just because, well, what happens if you go by yourself?
Well, then you make them pour it.
Yeah, you're like, pour it for me, peasant. And then they spit in it. You're like, well, that's their tradition. Gulp, 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 gulp.
But I could drink it like water.
That's good.
Like, okay, so I sat down and I had the big things, and it was me and Amanda, and we were sharing. And between the two of us, I think we went through like 4 of those big things of sake.
Nice. Yeah, it's like it's a light drink, but it sits like heavy in your head. Like, it's just a good, like, calm, heavy, like, drunk.
It goes down so good.
But is it a rice wine, or what? It's some kind of wine, right?
Yeah. It's like a rice wine.
Now I need to go get some sushi
and sake.
But yeah, you went to
served at the correct temperature,
98.6 degrees.
Yeah.
Is that why the band was 98 degrees? Because they like sake?
Maybe. Why were they named 98 degrees?
Why were they called NSYNC?
Well, like, that makes sense, because, like,
why were they called Backstreet Boys?
They're a group, and they're like, in sync.
Yeah,
together.
NSYNC makes
like,
sense.
They.
But why is it Backstreet Boys? Why is it New Kids on the Block?
Backstreet Boys makes sense too, because then it's like it gives them like that hard edge.
Yeah.
But yeah, 98 degrees. I have no idea.
Bands?
I have no idea why they were called 98.
What was the other bands? There's another like Kmart version of the late 90s, early 2000 rock or boy bands.
I don't know. Those are the only 3 I remember. 98 Degrees was like the Great Value boy band.
And then Nick Carter's.
I was like, I want to listen to NSYNC, and then your mom goes, "We got NSYNC at home." And it's 98 degrees.
And then Aaron Carter comes out trying to get on the coattails, and he just fell downhill. You would think like childhood, like stardom, like you just you would have just the greatest life ever, but for some reason they don't. I don't know why.
That's a good point.
You don't see too many childhood stars.
Well, I think wasn't 98 Degrees like Disney's? It was like they were like corporate sponsored.
That sounds right. That feels right. I don't know. Although, spoiler alert for what this episode is going to be about. We've been doing a lot of MicroNations, and I found a new one closer to home that we need to go visit. It's got a website and everything.
Ooh.
Yeah.
I like this. I guess then I should start the show.
Yeah,
eh?
and it's on the way to California. So you should have stopped here on your way back, but you didn't. And that's my fault because
I did a layover in Vegas.
This is close to it.
I think you said something about it being near me. You teased it for me.
Yeah, so you were 6 hours away, actually, because Nevada's a big state.
Oh, okay. A lot of desert.
Mm-hmm. A lot of desserts.
Mm-hmm. All right, I'm going to start the show. And hopefully the show's going to be so hot, it's going to be 98.4 degrees Fahrenheit.
Yeah, sake temperature.
If I knew a 98 degree song, I'd sing it here, but I don't because
nobody does.
Anyway, let's heat up the show. What's up, everybody? I'm Richard.
And I'm Shawn.
And we're speaking the language of bromance. Shawn, I was in Nevada, and you're telling me that there was something 6 hours away I should have stopped at.
Yeah, Richard, I just want to say that
there's a lot of desert in Nevada, so I probably would have gotten lost. Have you ever been to Nevada? Yeah. I know you've been to. Have you ever driven through Nevada?
Never driven through. We went to.
I have. Hoover Dam. And I'm gonna tell you that aside, like, you can see Las Vegas for miles.
Oh, I know flying in you can, because it's like, what's that big light where? Oh, that's Vegas.
Yeah, you're like, what is this beacon of light in this complete and utter sea of darkness? And when I say complete and utter sea of darkness, that's because there's nothing there, Shawn. It's desert. It's dirt, and it's scrub bushes,
scorpions,
and more than likely
rattlesnakes.
I can guarantee that. Cacti.
Mm-hmm. Desert people.
Yeah.
Desert people that got affected by the nuclear test, and then they trap you and they eat you.
It gets a crazy amount of desert. I find it soothing. Honestly, I wouldn't mind living in the desert. I think I'd do
I don't
all
like
right.
the heat, like, in the dryness. Like, you gotta drink a lot of water if you lived out there. Like, I was just in Vegas for a week.
I'm fine with that.
And I didn't drink enough water.
I need to drink more water.
My knuckles crack real bad.
I need to drink more water.
I drink a gallon a day. Yeah.
Really?
Hold on a second, I gotta go pee. That is what happens, though. If you drink a gallon of water a day, Richard, you're gonna pee like 12 times in an hour.
I believe it.
Although you might not. You got the
it.
bladder of like a camel.
That's true. I can go for hours.
Yeah. I can go for like an hour, and then I have to go.
You're like an hour tops. I usually make sure that you pee before and after we record.
Yep. Because if I don't, it's like halfway through, and halfway through is like 20 minutes. I'm like, He's like, I'm squirming. You're like, you got to go potty, don't you?
Did you go before we started?
Go potty. You're gonna have to edit this. I know.
Don't take the earbuds. Oh God! Don't take the microphone in. Oh,
no. Why are you pointing the can? Oh, that is clear. You are drinking a lot of water.
He's using the bidet, folks.
Ah, yes. Anyway, Richard, so you traveled to California, and this new MicroNation is right on the edge. If you look at the map, it is like the tippy top of the Nevada. Well, no, I guess it's not the tippy top. It's kind of like the belly button of Nevada. If Nevada was like a big chested guy with like a belly that kind of came in, it'd be like right at the top of the belly button.
So it's on the western edge.
Yes, the western edge. So it does that straight down line on California. It's kind of like right where it starts doing this number. You can't see it on the video.
Oh, okay.
But it is near.
I'm surprised. I might have driven near it.
Yeah, did you have somebody ask to see your passport? Ooh, you might be wanted in this MicroNation, Richard.
Because I didn't check in with. Do we have an embassy there in the MicroNation?
Well, Richard, this MicroNation is the Republic of Molossia.
Molossia.
Yeah, MOLOSSIA.
Okay.
What I like about this too, Richard, is this is from the site travelnevada.com, and it's Weird Nevada. So, can't decide.
Oh, so they advertise
it. It's got its own website and everything too. So you can't decide whether you want to tour the U.S. or take an international trip? Problem solved. By heading just a few minutes east of Carson City, Nevada's capital city, you can cross national borders without even having to go abroad. Because there just so happens to be an official MicroNation smack dab in the middle of the state of Nevada, the Republic of Molossia.
You know what I want to know? I want to know what it takes to consider yourself a MicroNation, and then I think we should do it. What if I had one, and then you had one, and then like we establish trade? We could sign treaties together. Oh my God, we could wear the jackets with all the medals on it. We could just give ourselves a bunch of medals.
Yeah.
And we could wear jackets with.
Let me send you the picture of this guy. So this guy, he is we'll figure out his name here in a second. Messages. Pal.
But you know how you always see those like dictators and stuff like that, and they're wearing.
Yeah, that's what this guy. He's got like a green jacket. He's got a tie, and he's got 1, 2, 3, 4. He's got like 15 medals on his jacket. And he's got the gold braided thing. Yeah. So pack your passports if you plan on visiting the official sovereign MicroNation, in quotes, complete with its own post office, national bank, and even Space Force. Just be sure you ditch any contraband onions, incandescent bulbs, or walruses at the border.
Incandescent bulbs,
yeah,
really?
And walruses. So this guy is not a fan of tusks. So that when we form our nations, Richard, we might have to go to war with Molossia. So the Republic of Molossia has quietly been an official independent.
We'll ride in on walruses.
Yeah. Oh, I like it. Although there's not much water, so our walruses will get like halfway there and be like, "It's so hot. Why did we fight in the desert?"
Did you go in the car?
So the Republic of Molossia has quietly been an official independent sovereign country inside Nevada for more than 40 years. The president, His Excellency Kevin Bow, we're going to call him Kevin Bow, B-A-U-G-H.
Kevin Bow
And his wife, First Lady, declared their property in MicroNation right in the heart of Dayton, Nevada, all the way back in 1977.
Ooh, that's when Star Wars came out.
Yeah, I wonder if that's how he got the idea. He's like, I'm going to fight. Oh, that's probably why he has his own Space Force. He's like, if I can be the first to a planet killer, I can control the world.
Yeah, that's a good point.
So the nation was...
Maybe he's building the Death Star.
The nation was initially located in Portland, Oregon, and called the Grand Republic of Voldstein, which...
Oh, wow, you're right. This dude does have the jacket with all the medals on it. See, that could be us.
All right.
And then somebody walk up to you and be like, what are those medals for? And then you could come up with you just make up a story for each one. Be like, I got this when I arm wrestled a walrus. And this one is for basket weaving.
This one right here, canning.
This one. Yep. And then I got this one.
Are those just merit badges for the
cereal
box?
Just
merit badges for the Girl Scouts? Like, no. They're for the Republic of my MicroNation, you asshole.
Yeah.
This one right here. Yeah, I got this for killing the last guy that made fun of my medals.
You could get all the pins. You've been hyping up on getting all the seals and titles and
Oh
destiny.
yeah,
because you want because when you earn a title, then you can get a pin with that seal on it. You could cover yourself in those pins.
I like. It's like, how'd you get this? I went to war. I got this in battle. He's got to be real quiet. Be like,
who'd you fight? The Hive? What is that?
This is for fighting the Vex. Oh my God, who are they? They're monster killing robots.
But don't worry,
I stopped them
to help keep you safe.
The nation was initially located in Portland, Oregon, and called the Grand Republic of Voldstein, which Bo's childhood partner in crime, King James Spielman, ruled.
So, okay, so you said it was part of it was originally in Portland, Oregon, so they just moved the whole quote-unquote country?
Yeah, so his buddy King James Spielman and him had the Grand Republic of Voldstein, but President Kevin Bo ascended to the throne in 1995. He declared a military dictatorship, renamed the country, and moved it to Nevada. There was a coup, Richard. A coup.
There was, but I think, honestly, I think that's the way a coup should be settled. Not only are you going to be like, I'm going to have a coup, and then I'm going to just basically move. Because that's what he did.
Yeah.
He's like, I'm going to have a coup. So, he put a jacket on and then moved to Nevada.
Yeah, that's a good point. And, like the Republic of Voldstein.
Isn't that a way you want the coup to happen? And be like, let's say, Shawn, let's say you're the president. You're the president of the United States right now, today.
Oof, don't want that job.
And then one of your generals is like, we're going to do a military coup.
I'm like, oh shit.
He basically is like, he buys a house in Nova Scotia. And then he's like, there you go. And I won. And you're like, all
did
right.
you take any military plans or any top secret stuff? No. Did you take all of our army or military people? No. Well, what'd you take? My dog.
I took the dog.
Oh,
what?
Okay. So we're on good terms? Yeah, I'm good now. Okay. So today, the Republic of Molossia is made up of 6.3 acres. Richard, I have more property than Molossia. We would have more natural resources than Molossia.
That's true. Especially, you don't know, you're not entirely sure what you have until you start digging.
He's got, I know there's a big metal, railroad trail thing, so we could take that, melt it down, and make cannonballs.
Yep. Nuclear weapons.
Yeah. I don't think I have uranium here, but maybe
uranium.
But if he's in the desert too, Richard, I've got a creek that runs in my backyard. I've got trees. I mean, I'm pretty sure we could take over this Republic of Molossia.
That's true. You could declare your backyard a national park.
Yeah, that's a good point. So today, the Republic, like I said, the Republic of Molossia is made up of 6.3 acres, otherwise known as Harmony Province, and is the smallest of the Molossia territories. Wait, maybe he's got other ones. Damn, maybe this guy already has a lot of territories, Richard. Maybe I shouldn't declare war yet. So as for the others, find them spread all over the country, world, and universe.
What?
The protectorate of New Antrim is in Pennsylvania. The Desert Homestead Province is in Southern California, and Neptune Deep is at the bottom of the Pacific Ocean. And even a 49,000 square mile chunk of the planet Venus are all part of the Republic of Molossia.
Okay. I have questions.
I don't know what your question.
Okay, if he has other parts I get it. The place in Southern California desert and stuff like that. But number one, how do you buy land from the ocean floor? And who do you buy it from?
Well, I think it's just in like MicroNation terms is you don't buy it from anybody. You just declare it yours and nobody challenges you for it.
So what you're saying is I could declare that now. Like, Shawn, I don't know if you know this, but there's a square mile in the southern Atlantic. It's about 400 miles off the coast of Brazil.
Yeah. I know where that is.
That's mine.
What? You own that?
That's mine. I own. It's mine.
What?
I don't own it because I feel that ownership is a very materialistic term. So, but I am the custodian of it. That's mine.
Oh, okay. Hey, I'm going to stop by your house later, and I'm going to take your computer. And since you're just the custodian of it, and I'm just going to borrow it.
Well, you can't because I've declared this. I've declared the area that's on this rug as sovereign territory.
Okay. And taking my computer is an act of
Nation
war.
Of go fuck yourself.
Take it and you just chop me with a sword.
Okay, so that's number one. Number two, 49. You said 49,000 square miles on Neptune?
On Venus.
How do you get that? How do you say that's yours?
Well, I don't know if you know this, Richard, but in Saturn, actually, no, I'm sorry. I own a giant round hole on Uranus.
I bet you do, buddy.
It's a little stinky, but it's mine and I love it. Hard to get into.
On my anus?
Uranus.
This is the gayest we've ever gotten this podcast, I feel. And that's saying something.
So, where is Molossia, Nevada? So, the Harmony province in Dayton is where His Excellency President Kevin Bowe and his trusty First Lady reside full-time. But that officially makes his private property surrounded by Nevada and the United States an official republic. So, Richard, customs and traditions of the Republic of Molossia.
I want to know what it takes to declare yourself this, and what can I do in order to get there? What I'm saying, Shawn, is I want to get there. I love these stories about like MicroNation and stuff like that. But what I really want to know is ultimately how can I do this myself?
Well, I think like this dude, like the United States hasn't like what's it called? Recognized him as a independent country. So he hasn't caused enough of a stink for the U.S. government to be like, listen, knock it off. And the reason I wanted to bring this story up, because there is something interesting about what he does that we all do that he calls something else. And I find it kind of entertaining. I'm not sure if this article says it.
Well, I guess the reason is because like, I don't like, by doing what he's doing, is he subject to any special privileges that people that are not in the country of Molossia?
I mean, it's probably as similar to like if he wanted to take it.
Like, is there a fringe benefit that the rest of us are not able to have?
That's why we need to bring. He gets to. I don't know. He gets to wear all those medals and nobody judges him for it. That's the perk.
Okay.
Which to me seems worth it.
I need more. How many people live there?
With a reported population of 34, that's pretty big. 30 humans and 4 dogs across its several non-contiguous pieces of land. Molossia's.
There's a town near where I live called Big Neck. And it has 6 people.
There's a little town that I drive through to go home, and that's about it's like 6 to 10 people.
And then you sit there and you go, like, 6 people? Like, how does that work?
I don't know. I think mostly it's probably like a town that started up, And because, I mean, if they didn't have that town, like, they would take the town of the closest one, which could be like 20 miles away.
Well, yeah, but I guess you just like, you wonder, I guess what I'm saying is you wonder like what all like being in a town of 6 people, like what does that entail?
Well, so do they have a
Like-
post office? 'Cause I think technically to be an actual, like, maybe it's city, you have to have a post office. Otherwise you're like a village or something like that. It's like a tier down.
Okay. All right. So step 1, establish a post office.
Yeah.
I have a bunch of letters on my desk.
I had a bunch that said something about bills.
Step 1, check.
So let's see, blah, 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 blah. So they don't have paved roads, a hospital, or airport, but the Republic of Molossia has just about everything else. The nation has its own currency, the Valora, which is tied to the value of cookie dough. Yeah.
Wait,
So they're
like the market value of cookie
so
dough?
they're not on the gold standard or the Federal Reserve standard. They're on the cookie dough standard, which I like.
So Pillsbury sets their price.
Yeah.
So if I walk into there with a tube of cookie dough,
It'd be about like 3 Valora, or one Valora would be worth. Yeah. Wait. So a thing of
yeah. See, that's the thing. Is it like how much is it? Like 1 ounce?
No. So a tube of cookie dough would be 1 Valora. So it'd be about $3 to 1 Valora, roughly. They do have a post office and even laws, Richard. So firearms.
Well, damn. If that's the case, like what you should do is get rich on Valora, and then make a killing with the exchange rate.
Yeah. Although if you go across and you want cookie dough, though, they won't take the Valora.
No, but you see, you go in. So get a bunch of cookie dough. Like you could make. Oh my God! Wait, you'd make a bunch of cookie dough. Then you go to Molossia. You trade it for Valora. Then take the Valora and then use the exchange rate for cash. For US dollars.
I wonder if he showed up in an actual exchange with Valora. You're like, hey, this is worth like 6 cookie doughs. Like, what the fuck are you talking about?
Where I come from.
So Richard, Molossia has laws. So firearms, tobacco, plastic shopping bags, catfish, fresh spinach, missionaries, salesmen, onions, and walruses.
Wait, missionary?
Yeah, you can't have. These are all contraband. So missionary position is contraband. No, just missionary. So you're not going to get a knock at your door.
Sounds good.
You're not going to.
I'm getting sold more and more on this, Shawn.
Yeah, you knock on the door. Like you're not going to get a knock on the door that says, "Hey, we're from the Church of Satan." None of that.
Because that happens a lot.
Oh man, if I had a nickel. So, Richard, you're going to like this, but you're going to hate this at the same time. Molossia does not pay taxes.
See?
Yeah. You know what they do, though? They voluntarily provide foreign aid to the surrounding areas.
Voluntarily?
Yeah, so they're paying taxes. They just call it foreign aid.
I mean, clever wordplay, sure, but
Yeah.
I'm curious if somebody was like, I'm not going to provide any foreign aid this year.
See, I think it's kind of like playing hardball. You know, it's like, I never do what my wife says. I never do the dishes. Or when she tells me to. I just do them because I like to.
Because it's nice and relaxing to me.
Yeah. Let's see. Its currency, Richard, is printed on poker chips. There is an official language.
Oh?
Yeah, it's English.
I'm going to guess English.
Yeah, it's English. But the diplomatic auxiliary language Esperanto is an officially recognized second language.
Okay.
They have a national anthem.
Ooh, you know what you should do? Stop right here, okay? Like, you should see if I don't know if you could do this, but see if you could like fade in the national anthem, like while you're talking, like fade it in, or while I'm talking. You could do it right now. I don't care, but you fade in their national anthem and then fade it out. I'm not that clever at editing.
I'm listening to it now. It's just booty, 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 rocking everywhere. Booty, booty, booty. Let's see. They have their own bank, railroad, navy, war office, and plenty more too.
What is the Navy? Show me the Navy.
It's a John boat, and there's no water anywhere.
It's not even a John boat. It's like one of those like paddle boats you see at like a lake in the city park.
This worked for Washington. Paddle, 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 paddle.
Yeah. And it's got like a 9mm duct tape to the front of it.
No, guns are contraband. You can't have guns in there.
Oh, that's right. So there's a sword. There's a knife.
Yeah,
a kitchen knife.
A butter knife.
Duct taped to the front of it.
There's even a Republic of Molossia.
Charge! Booty, 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 booty.
General Shawn, quit twerking. I can't help it. It's my war dance. The Republic of Molossia even has a national instrument, Richard. What do you think it is?
It's got to be some like oddball thing. It's a theremin. That's what it is. Like the little hand harp that like you put your hands in and it makes the like.
No, they don't know. I guess it doesn't really have like a specific thing, but it sounds a lot like a kazoo. So it's probably just a kazoo.
It's a kazoo.
Yeah.
It's a kazoo.
Same-sex marriage has been legal within this independent nation since 2002. So very progressive country.
That's nice. Very progressive nation. I like it.
They recognize a slew of official holidays throughout the year, like the Moon Pie Festival on September 15th. The Kick-Assia Invasion Victory Day on April 11th.
I have no idea what that is.
I wonder if that's when he broke away from his original country, because it's Kick-Assia.
Maybe.
Additionally, the nation is currently at war with East Germany.
But there isn't. East Germany isn't a thing anymore.
I don't know. They're still at war. So even though the only bit of land
can't be. They don't exist. It's like me being at war with, I don't know, the Hoover administration. It's not around.
So they say even though the only bit of land still alleged by Molossia to be occupied by East Germany is an uninhabitable island off the coast of Cuba.
But it's not. But East Germany doesn't even own it now. I would think that Cuba owns it.
Yeah, well, it's uninhabitable, so nobody should be on it. Or is there, Richard? Molossia knows the answers. Molossia is the only thing.
We'll attack with our navy. Booty, booty, booty.
And Molossia's boat with the butter knife is the only thing keeping the damn East Germans at bay.
Good Lord.
We salute you, Molossia. Booty, 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 rocking
I guess,
everywhere.
otherwise
booty,
you'll
booty,
declare
booty.
war on us, right?
I found you, East Germany, over by Cuba. So, visiting the Republic of Molossia, Richard. So, the government house, a.k.a. the Beau's private residence, is the main building, but don't expect to just roll through the main entrance when touring the property. Visitors are required to make an appointment for once a month tours, generally April 15th through October 15th, to enter the nation.
Once a month?
Yeah, once a month tours. So there are April, May, June, July.
That's a lot. Okay, like all kidding aside, like I'm sure this dude like is probably makes money. Like that's like a way he makes money. I would think that just doing tours once a month, I would think that would not be enough to sustain the GDP of a micronation.
Yeah, I'm curious, but yeah, I mean, even if like my property, if like once a month, 7 months out of the year, I had 20 people show up and spend, $100 a piece. That's $2,000.
Well, sure, but what if you did that once a week instead?
Well, sorry, they wouldn't bring $100. They would bring 100 things of cookie dough.
Yeah,
a piece with receipts, so I could take them back. So to enter the nation, let's see, blah, blah. So yeah, the once a month to enter the nation are required to go through customs just like anywhere else. And Richard, they say, don't forget your passport because they actually will stamp it.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah, I feel like
is that okay. So that's kind of cool.
I feel like that's illegal though. Like I feel like you get in trouble for that.
Probably.
So
I guess it depends on like where else you went. They'd be like, "What the fuck is this?"
So the Republic of Molossia, this is from them, welcomes foreign visitors, but not of the unannounced variety. The micronation.
What is customs like though? Do you think they like do searches?
I would.
You would.
Yeah. Like, take all your clothes off. Shawn, it's me, Richard. I know. How do I know you're not wearing a wire? You're just lucky we're not visiting the sister country on Uranus.
Now cough.
Shawn, you're holding my nose. I know that's how we do it here. So the Republic of Molossia. I'm checking you for a hernia. Shawn, I don't think you're listening to the right science. Oh, you're listening to that U.S. science. This is the science of Molossia.
This is Molossia science. Let's check with our science advisor. And then you take off that hat and put on a lab coat. I'll allow it.
You got to take it off. It's like, what's his credentials? Hold on, let me get him back. Take off the hat, put on. This is tiring. I went to the University of Molossia. I graduated cum laude. Did you just say cum laude?
Come louder. What?
Isn't it cum laude? Hold on, let me get my coat. Let me go get the professor. Get the professor.
I'm tired. I don't want to do this anymore. Search yourself, but let me watch.
Yeah, check that area a lot. That's my belly button. Yeah, check your belly button. Oh, look, a piece of lint. Contraband! So the Republic of Molossia welcomes foreign visitors, but not of the unannounced variety. This micronation is also His Excellency's Kevin Bowe and the First Lady's actual home.
Okay.
And so, Richard, so you know, you can actually become a citizen of Molossia. At this time, nope. That's a question. Can you? Nope. Full residency is a requirement of citizenship, and the sovereign nation isn't currently accepting any new residents, but you can certainly visit.
Well, how did those other people get on?
It's a good question. So their website,
what made them
Richard,
so special?
Their website, Richard, they have a link that says, help fight the war with East Germany, buy war bonds. They have a war bond, so the Republic of Molossia's War Office. Buy war bonds and support the war against East Germany. In as much as the war with East Germany is ongoing, the government of the Republic of Molossia is again issuing war bonds. Your help is needed to support the war effort and bring a successful conclusion to this conflict. Thank you for your support and help in bringing victory to our nation. And you can buy a war bond, Republic of Molossia war bond, in the amount of 10 Valora. Add that to my card.
Okay. So okay, let me ask you, okay? Let's say, Shawn, you wanted to establish your own nation. What what things would you do if you actually did want to start your own micronation? Like what this guy did. Like, would you have a war office? Would you have, like, what are things that you would do?
I don't know. I kind of like the idea of, like, I just was checking on here. He talks about the war with the Muskians.
Would you declare war on somebody?
Really, it'd be like, I found these new, they're not paintball guns, but they are guns that shoot like BBs filled with water.
Okay.
And like, it would be kind of, because like, did you ever play EVE Online, the space game?
I did not. I tried for like one day and I was like, this is way too much.
Yeah, but like they talk about like in that game. So if people don't know, I know very little, but it's essentially like spaceship battles. And you spend all this time like maxing out skills and building spaceships. And there's like a bunch of different like federations of like government type stuff. And like they like the top like 20 people go to like Switzerland every year to like discuss the game itself and what they can do to improve it.
Yes.
But people legitimately spend like years infiltrating these like governments inside of this game.
Yeah.
So they go undercover and they work their way up.
Okay, so usually it happens every like year or so, but there ends up being some huge space battle in EVE Online. It always ends up happening. And we're just, sometimes it starts out as like a very benign encounter that just escalates and escalates until like hundreds of ships and different corporations. Now, when I say corporations, I'm talking about actual like groups of people that have banded together to form like companies in this game. But they'll get together and like they'll have these huge space battles, and they will actually talk about the legitimate cost of the battle in terms of losses. Like, the losses to both sides total, 22 billion of whatever the currency is, I don't know. But then they actually translate that to real dollars, and it can be like in the thousands.
It gets pricey. Like the biggest one, they had this infiltration, is like the biggest government, and this guy infiltrated and set up somehow. So basically they surrounded it, and nobody could leave the ship, because if they did, they'd destroy them, or they'd have to like basically sell their stuff to get away. But I bring that up because like if you could have like micronations, you could fill out like this, government / international like politician type stuff. Like you could play that stuff out in a very small and safe scenario. It's like we declare war and we're shooting each other with like water BB gun type stuff that doesn't really hurt that bad and doesn't stain our clothes. And we could build.
Who would you declare war on?
It'd be fun. Apparently, if I could build my own, it'd be fun to go to war with Molossia.
That's true.
Their site's pretty decent though, and like I said, like we're wondering how much it costs. So they do a tour a month and it's $100 a ticket to get in there. They call it the media visa.
So okay, so let's say $100. Let's say, how many people do you think go on it?
I mean, I bet you could get 20 people easy on average.
So that entire country is subsisting off of $2,000 a month.
Yeah, for 7 months. But that's only 7 days of work. I would assume that he probably has a visa and works outside of the Republic of Molossia doing something else.
Yeah, that's a good point. Well, we missed the last tour, so now we have to wait until April.
We should go. This will be kind of fun.
Hey, I'm always down to go out west.
On their the Molossian Air and Space Agency, they got their own space day. They've got the 2017 solar eclipse, and it has the president and first lady watching the solar eclipse.
I want to know what the other people do. Because you said 34 people. Like, what are the other 32 people?
Yeah, I wonder if, like, essentially they've got a tiki hut and bar and grill.
Like, do they? I don't know. Like, yeah. I mean, like, I don't know. I guess I just have like so many questions. Be like, do they actually like declare themselves citizens of this micronation, or are they just like, I don't know, I live near fucking Carson City?
Probably. I bet it was one of those things like they offered up like citizenship that you could buy, and then like 30 people did it too quickly and like, oh crap, that's way too much, so we got to cut it back.
Oh, and do you think that those people actually like contribute to like the people around them? You know what I mean? Yeah.
So, Richard, they have Heroes of Molossia. So it's His Excellency President Kevin Bowe, First Lady Andriana Bowe, Chief Constable Alexis Bowe, Emperor Norton I, Walt Disney.
Emperor Norton, we talked about him.
Which one was he?
He was the guy in San Francisco that declared himself emperor.
Oh, yeah. There's Miranda McKinney, Admiral Eric White, and then the heroes of the two wars that they fought.
Like, he didn't have a lot of money, but somehow, like, always managed to, you know, come off as like a rich dude, and he lived in San Francisco. And then the paper wrote about him being an emperor, and he'd walk around and like make declarations and shit.
So the 30 citizens, I think, are like, because they have honorary. So individuals who are recognized by the Molossian Republic for their influence on our nation, or just because we like them. There's Emperor Shawn of the Empire of Septimpontia. That must be me.
Okay.
But that's me. Empress Andrea, King Frederick Albrecht I, King Thomas of the Kingdom of Lectoria. Let's see. There's the Sovereign Principality of Corvinia. What was the one island place that we talked about in Britain?
Sealand?
Sealand. I don't see any Sealands. Yeah,
I don't think that's around anymore.
So yeah,
because that was the story where where like pirates showed up.
Yeah,
and then he came back. The guy he came back to like rescue his family, and he did this whole like fucking under siege thing where he came back on like a helicopter and retook Sealand.
Yeah, it'd be kind of cool.
Why no one has made a movie about that? I struggle with.
Yeah. Oh, they had the Dead
constantly.
Dog War. What was the Dead Dog War? All right, so we'll read this last thing because there's a printing of it. So this is the Dead Dog War from the Molossia. Oh, the Molossia is .org too. It's not a .com. Yeah. So on the evening of July 3rd, 1999, covert forces from the United States crossed the Molossian frontier without permission and buried a dead dog in the sovereign Molossian territory. The peace-loving Molossian government responded to this dastardly assault initially with negotiation to attempt to avoid an all-out war.
Who do they negotiate with?
Whoever buried the dog, apparently.
Oh, okay.
Negotiations failed, however, as a putrid corpse was not removed. Therefore, the Molossian army was deployed to deal with the underhanded threat to our sovereignty. Siege was laid against our enemy using our secret weapon, the ceaseless chatter of a hyperactive 13-year-old boy. After 2 weeks of conflict, the siege resulted in the catapultation of enemies of Molossia. The dead dog, now considered more decomposed than before the war, was removed. Sometime later, reparations were made to Molossia in the form of a wood garbage can holder. Today, the Dead Dog War battlefield and the new grave of the dead dog, just over the now fenced Molossian frontier, stand as a mute reminder of the horrors of war and of man's inhumanity to man.
My goodness.
Yeah, the Dead Dog War was an event that threatened the territory of Molossia by the United States. While not being a war in the strictest sense due to a lack of direct armed conflict, it is nevertheless defined as such by Molossia because it represented a threat to our sovereignty and was resolved by unconventional weapons and not purely by diplomacy. It may also be likened to the Cuban Missile Crisis, and both sides stood firm, unlike the United States blinked this time.
What do you think it would take? So let's say, Shawn, let's say you had like a setup like this where, you got this MicroNation, you're doing tours and stuff like that. Like, what do you think it would take in order for the U.S. to actually be like, wait a minute, like, what's this dude doing? Like, do you think it, like, I mean, obviously, like, I think if you just, like, didn't pay taxes for a second, then they'd be like, hang on a minute. But, like, aside from that, let's say you still kept paying your taxes. What do you think you could get away with? What do you think would be the last straw in terms of, like, shit you could do to fuck with the U.S.?
I think as long as you didn't get into, like, cult-ish kind of, like, territory, like where there's like, whenever people go to Molossia, that weird dude is like, he doesn't let them leave.
Yeah, and he's not wearing pants.
Yeah. I'm hearing stories about like him having sex with guys' wives. Like, I don't know if that's okay. It's funny, on their official symbol stuff, the life expectancy is 90.
Oh, wow.
The GNI per capita, Valorem, is 66,000. The current labor force is at 50%. The literacy rate is at 75%. So I'm guessing because the 4 dogs can't read. There's no elections.
Yeah, I mean, like, what? Like, I guess I sit here and I wonder, like, at what point do you think that there would be a meeting in like an office somewhere in Washington, D.C., be like, you hear about this guy that's got his own nation? Like, what, if you, like I said, like, let's say you're still paying your taxes. Like, I guess I'm just curious, like, how far you could push the envelope before, like, there's a knock at your door.
I think as long as
somebody's like, okay, like, knock it off.
Yeah, I think as long as you're not breaking like big rules, like, again, like kidnapping or drug smuggling or like murder or anything along those lines, I would think they'd leave you alone. Because I don't think they would come in terms of like, this nation's getting too big, they might take over the whole United States. Right. It'd be more of like, listen.
But it's like, I feel like there's got to be a moment where like somebody in a windbreaker showing up at your house.
Yeah. Again, probably more if it gets kind of like cultish or like, yeah, just more cultish or like, as long as you're not breaking any laws, I don't think they're going to care. And at that point, they're not coming because you're the Republic of Molossia. It's more they're coming because you're breaking some federal laws.
Yeah.
Like, no, it's okay. Cockfighting's legal in Molossia.
Maybe. I don't know.
Yeah. But, Richard, that's another MicroNation in Nevada. This one's actually got a lot more like details.
This one seems very, very, very well established. Yeah. Much more so than the other ones that I've seen so far.
Honestly, I know HTML a little bit. I can kind of make a website, and I've got a PayPal account. Like, I feel like I could make one of these. All you gotta do is have people come, take pictures, let them walk around your property a little bit, and then tell them to get the fuck out.
Yeah.
But as we are finalizing our trip to Molossia next year, Richard, what are some Richard's closing thoughts?
The even the smallest of nations requires the strength of many hands. That's a proverb.
Or, as we like to say in Molossia, a proverb.
And a paddle boat with a butter knife does not a navy make.
Yeah. And you...
Booty, 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 booty.
All right, well, let me do a little bit of housekeeping. Visit our website, we're languageofbros.com. Follow us on Twitter and Instagram at languageofbro. Email us at bros@languageofbros.com. And we like to thank the two that we are going to put at the top of our citizenship list when we start our MicroNation, and that's our patrons, Wendy and Aaron.
We'll put them in charge of
everything.
we'll make them our ambassadors to the U.S.
Ooh, yeah.
Like, listen, could you tell those two to stop?
I've never even been to their property.
Could you tell those two to stop blaring Cardi B at all hours of the day? It's our national anthem.
You're just jealous.
I'll tell them, but they won't listen.
Is it because they're hard headed? It's like, no, the music's too loud. All right. Well, is there anything before I close her out?
No, I'm good, sir.
All right. Well, that's all the romance have for this show. I'm Shawn.
And I'm Richard.
And remember, don't B-O-Y. B-O-Y not.
Booty, 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 booty.